Hi there, and I'm so sorry that I can't be with you personally to help you celebrate in Longreach the 50th anniversary of the ICPA Federal Conference. 50 years you've been helping improve the equity of access for students in rural and remote Australia, and what an important role that is. And of course, I remember discussing last year with Alana and the state presidents the important role that telecommunications and connectivity plays in fulfilling that mission, and just how that's been reinforced as we've all been studying and working from home during COVID. We're trying to do our bit. We're increasing capacity, increasing coverage, moving from 3G to 4G to 5G. But I know there's still lots of challenges that we need to address to continue to try and provide the best connectivity and coverage for your stakeholders and for students in rural and remote Australia. But for now, I'm going to leave you in the hands of Michael Ackland, who's our Group Executive for our Consumer and Small Business, talk about some of the things that we are doing explicitly. But I also look forward to the opportunity to catch up again to get your feedback as well, because I know we don't always get it right, and I know there's more that we can do. And you are an incredibly important stakeholder in pointing out where we can make a difference. So thank you very much. Enjoy the conference, and congratulations on the 50th anniversary.
Thank you for inviting me to speak with you today and being part of your 50th anniversary celebrations. I hope you're all keeping safe and well. 50 years is a big achievement, and the work you do championing equitable access to education for children in the bush is incredibly important. It's disappointing we can't be together face to face, but I am pleased we still get the opportunity to catch up like this virtually. The COVID pandemic has impacted us all. It's been devastating in so many ways, and its effects will be felt for many years to come. But there have been some silver linings. One of the silver linings has been the migration of families and businesses from our cities into regional Australia. A trend I think will continue even after life returns to some form of normality post-COVID. With this population migration comes enormous economic opportunities for the regions. It also brings with it serious considerations for infrastructure, employment, healthcare, and schooling. Australia has a once-in-a-generation opportunity to create and accelerate real change on the key issues that will face and shape our economy, our society, and our future. And of course, connectivity in regional Australia has never been more important. It is this connectivity I want to talk about today, specifically what Telstra is doing to help you access the networks and the technology you need to be successful. As Andy has said, we're committed to maintaining our leading role in connecting regional and remote families. This commitment comes from our presence on the ground, our investments in regional Australia, and bringing your voice to the table with the mutual goal of ensuring families in the bush can participate fully in the digital economy. And that includes having the connectivity needed to educate children learning remotely. Today, I want to address some of the key themes that are coming through loud and clear from your members and what we are doing about them. These include our network service, our network investments, including our 3G closure in June 2024, and our universal service obligations. Telstra has a strong connection with the bush. We are one of its biggest supporters and investors. Delivering the best coverage and the highest quality services to the people, community, and businesses of regional Australia is and always will be an absolute priority. Customer usage of our mobile network in regional Australia is measured in petabytes, has grown almost threefold in just 3 years. To better explain this usage, we like to use the analogy of vehicle traffic on a national highway growing 3 times in 3 years. There would be no way to quickly expand the highway sufficiently to keep traffic moving at the same rate as before, and it's the same for the mobile network. Upgrades have been ongoing through this period, but keeping up with such growth is an incredible challenge, and more so in regional and remote areas where logistical complexity and cost to deploy infrastructure are higher, in line with increasing remoteness, making the overall site economics more challenging. We have invested billions of dollars to extend and enhance our mobile network to the far reaches of our country. That's a country mile more than any other telco. And just last month, we announced our strategy for growth, T25. This new strategy comes into effect from July 1, 2022, and will build on the strong foundations we've deployed over the last 3 years with T22. It's designed to not only accelerate growth from our core and to scale our new businesses, but importantly enhance customer experience and capitalize on the permanent shifts in how people work and live. For regional Australia, T25 will see us further boost regional connectivity with an additional 100,000 square kilometres of new 4G and 5G coverage. Our 5G network already covers more than 200 towns and cities across Australia, and that means that 75% of Australians can now access our 5G network where they live. And we aim to provide access to 95% of the population and have 80% of all mobile network traffic on 5G by the end of financial year 25. This will build on the extensive investments we've already made on our own and through co-investment programs. Over the past 5 years, we've invested $8 billion in our mobile networks nationally, with $3 billion of that in regional Australia. Over the same time period, we've also invested more than $5 billion in our fixed networks, with $1.3 billion of that in regional Australia. Under the federal government's mobile black spot program, we've invested 3 times more money than the rest of the industry put together, and we're building more than 2/3 of all mobile base stations jointly funded under the program. That's around 930 new sites to improve coverage for regional areas around Australia. And we're the only major mobile provider to win projects and commit funding to improve regional services through the Regional Connectivity Program. We'll be delivering 72 new projects to deliver new mobile towers and improved high-speed broadband services in these areas, which need it most. We're also investing $150 million this financial year, upgrading more than 180 3G only sites and improving capacity at 4G sites with high traffic. We've committed a further $200 million to encourage co-investment with government and local communities to improve connectivity in the bush over the next 4 years. We don't do any of this because we have to or to meet any regulatory obligations. We invest commercially for our customers so that they know when they're with Telstra, they will have the best possible mobile experience they can get. Many of you will have heard this before, but it's important to restate. Beyond extending coverage across regional and rural Australia, we also want to ensure that your communities don't get left behind with yesterday's technology. Moving away from older technologies like 3G is vital for ensuring regional Australia can better participate in the growing digital economy. That is why we're expanding our 4G coverage across the country ahead of the planned closure of our 3G network in June 2024. Closing the 3G network means we can free up 3G spectrum to roll 5G out in more places, which is vital for industries like farming, transport, logistics, mining, and tourism. It has the added benefit of providing more capacity, as 4G has 10 times the capacity and speeds of 3G. We're giving everyone plenty of notice about 3G closure so they have time to understand what's involved, the changes they might need to make, and how we'll manage the move to the 4G and 5G network. We'll ensure that no 3G sites are removed or switched off or reduced in coverage before the closure date. You can purchase any device from Telstra knowing that it will be compatible with the Telstra network beyond June 24, as all devices we currently sell are equipped for at least 4G and voice over 4G. I'd encourage you to look at our range of Telstra certified blue tick handsets and certified 3G, 4G compatible extension devices, as they will continue to work beyond 2024, even as we upgrade the network to 5G. These devices can be purchased on our monthly repayment plans, lessening the financial impact of upgrading your equipment. I'd now like to touch on customer service, which we understand is incredibly important to you, and rightfully so. We know better than anyone the challenges of providing telecommunication services in regional and rural communities and the huge benefits this brings for so many Australians. Our teams are on the ground working tirelessly to ensure our customers are connected, faults are fixed, and issues are addressed quickly. We don't always get it right, and we know the job is far from done. That's why we've made significant changes over the past few years through our T22 strategy and have recently announced more improvements with our T25 strategy. It's why we've tuned into each of the virtual forums recently run by the Regional Telecommunications Independent Review Committee, or RTIRC, to hear firsthand what more we and other telcos can do to improve connectivity and service in the bush. But we don't want to just improve. We want to deliver superior customer experiences. Before I talk more about what we're doing, I want to first address the experience some of you may have had in the last year when trying to contact us. When COVID hit, we lost around 80% of our contact center capacity almost overnight. And we also had significant periods where our stores were closed due to lockdowns. This was an incredibly challenging time for our teams, and we had to make some tough prioritization calls on how to best service our customers, particularly those who are most vulnerable. This meant for about 6 months or so, we had a tough time answering calls and responding to complaints. I know we let many of you down during this period, and for that, I am sorry. We've since built back stronger by investing more in our contact operations in Australia and improving the resiliency of our international operations. Beyond this, through our T22 strategy, we've migrated our customers onto simpler mobile plans that have eliminated all the things you don't like, from getting rid of excess data charges, late payment fees, and providing no lock-in contracts. Our largest mobile broadband data package now includes a huge 400 gigabytes of data, and we've also focused on providing more localized service. For example, our regional customers who call us are now dealt with by our South Australian-based team again. Our Indigenous customers are also directed to our First Nations Connect team in Darwin for support. This team are all of Indigenous descent, and some of the calls they take are solved in language for our customers. And we're on track to deliver our commitment to have all voice calls answered in Australia by June 30, 2022. We've always had contact centres in major locations across the country, in places like Adelaide and Hobart and Melbourne and Sydney and Bathurst and Maryborough and Townsville and Perth and Darwin. And now all of our contact centre consultants can work from home, giving them more flexibility and opening up more employment opportunities in regional Australia. We're also bringing all of our Telstra retail stores back in-house. This includes more than 130 in regional locations. And through T25, we'll provide customers with a more consistent and personalised experience, regardless of the channel you choose to interact with us, whether it's in-store, on the phone, or online. We'll use technology and analytics to be able to predict and resolve issues before you know you have them. Our goal is to achieve once and done more than 90% of the time by 2025 by getting things right the first time and cutting the complaints by a third in the next 2 years and a half in the next 4 years. To better service our business customers in regional Australia, we'll also expand the physical presence of our Telstra Business Technology Centres, so small business have direct access to the expertise they need in their local communities. Our Digital Inclusion Index tells us that too many Australians are still facing real barriers to online participation, barriers that include access, affordability, digital literacy. This is particularly the case for regional and remote Australians. Clearly, there is more important work to do, and we are committed to playing an active role through a range of programs. This includes our commitment to launching a satellite service in FY23, connecting 1 million customers in vulnerable circumstances, and building digital skills for 500,000 Australians. We care about regional and rural Australia. We will always be investing in the regions, always listening, and always be trying to do better. The job of providing connectivity, particularly in a country as big and as sparsely populated as Australia, is well understood by Telstra because we've been doing it for well over 100 years. This is not solely our responsibility. It must be a shared accountability between all levels of government, NBN Co, other telcos, and local communities. And to continue doing what we do so well, we need a supportive regulatory environment and continued co-investment with governments, local councils, and businesses. This is also a necessity if the federal government is to realise its goal for Australia to be one of the world's leading digital economies by 2030. Regional Australia, the heartland of our country's primary industries, is a vital part of this plan. When it comes to having a supportive regulatory environment, one thing we need to look at is the universal service obligation. The contract that requires us to provide and maintain a standard copper service for connections in areas that are outside the NBN footprint. While NBN Co has the ability to use satellite and wireless to meet its obligation to provide broadband services, Telstra does not have the same freedom with respect to voice services. And the reality is the copper network is an old technology that is no longer fit for purpose and is susceptible to an increasing number of faults and damage. We are hopeful the government will agree to change the USO contract so that we can offer customers a 21st century solution to meet their needs and improve the reliability, quality, and sustainability of services in the process. We need a holistic, technology agnostic vision for providing enhanced connectivity to regional Australia. Otherwise, we risk creating a two-tier digital economy that will impact education, health, and business outcomes, particularly in rural and remote areas. There are already a range of technologies that provide better performing, more resilient telephone service than is possible over copper, including fixed wireless. And there are more that will be available in the near future, including low latency, low Earth orbit satellite services. We will continue to advocate for a policy environment conducive to better outcomes for regional connectivity, and will continue to lead the way in expanding coverage and improving network reliability through new technologies. As I said earlier, customer service remains an absolute priority for us. We're working hard to give you an experience that is even more localized and more personalized to you. Thank you for your time. So I have had a couple of questions, and I thought I'd run through those now. So the first is, what's the best way for regional Australians to get in touch with Telstra to get better connected and understand their options? So there are really three ways for you to get in touch with Telstra. One is to give us a call on 132200 and talk to our call center operators. The second way is to go online to telstra.com and work through the options. And you can also use our messaging service if you have some questions. And the third way, of course, is to head into one of our wonderful 130 regional stores. But I understand for many of you, those stores will be a long way away. So you'll be on the phone. If you are in a remote area and you call the 1300 number, you will be, as a priority, diverted to our regional and remote call center in Adelaide. The second question: Do you have a 3G exit roadmap, and can you give assurances that no one will be disadvantaged by this change? So yes, we do have a 3G exit roadmap, and we can give you assurances that no one will be disadvantaged by this change. So we will not be removing any 3G access until we have 4G access available, and our commitment is that our 4G coverage will be the same or better than our 3G coverage. And the third question: with the changeover, what extra costs would be incurred for equipment upgrades? So there will be equipment upgrades required, which is why we wanted to give notice a number of years in advance. Any equipment you buy now from Telstra will be 4G capable, 3G and 4G capable, and will work on our network beyond 2024. So I encourage you to get online, to call us, or if you can, come into a store and talk about your options for upgrading your equipment. Thank you.